Welcome to today's episode of Daily Dose with hosts Jeannie 420 and Shane Doogan Doull. Open wide. It's time for your dose.
Hey everybody, welcome to the show. We are your hosts, Jeannie 420, Shane Doogan Doull, and Scott Migdol here at the board. We have another hell of a show today. We're going to learn about, well, like always, all things weed, and we don't have any guests today. We're just going to rifle through some news, and we're going to give you guys a daily dose with just us, because you know what? We're cool enough to do that. Anyways, you will be a better human after this episode because, well, you took your dose. So there you go. Now, if you remember, get your daily dose administered right through your eyeballs on all US Weed Channel apps at usweedchannel.com. We're on everything. Don't forget to download our mobile app. It's super important. It's where you get your notifications, all sorts of special deals and nifty stuff go through there. And don't also forget, or do you remember, that you can get your daily dose administered right through your earballs at usweedchannel.com/radio, as well as a couple of other platforms like TuneIn. Now, because you love growing cannabis TV, take a sec to water, like, and subscribe. All of those buttons, follow everything at US Weed Channel if you're not on a US Weed Channel platform. And of course, light up the like and subscribe buttons if you're not watching on a usweedchannel.com platform, like if you're over at YouTube or something like that, and be the beautiful fan of cannabis media that we know you are. All right, so let's just real quickly, now that we're here, pay some bills. Today's episode is brought to you by New Jersey Cannabis Consulting, as well as Green Marketing Dispensary. Be sure to check their links below and show them some love. And after that, we'll be right back with today's episode of the Daily Dose.
Dispensary owners, here's how we increase and stabilize traffic and revenue for cannabis dispensaries like yourself without ever spending a dime on weed maps. And this means for you that you get the extra cash that you depend on without weed maps. No more over-investing in weed maps without getting a monthly ROI and cutting off the deal bros who just want the cheapest weed possible. And we have free trading. Click down here below to get access to our 2024 free marketing cheat sheet for cannabis dispensaries.
Welcome back to the Daily Dose Podcast with your host. I'm Jeannie 420. He's Shane Doogan Doull. That's Scotty Migdol on the board. This segment is brought to you by our sponsors, the New Jersey Cannabis Consulting and Green Marketing Consulting. Be sure to follow the links in the QRs to show them some love. Be sure to watch the US Weed Channel on all your favorite devices except Fire TV. They are lame, but we are still holding a space for you. Be sure to download the USWC mobile apps and support all things US Weed Channel because you love growing cannabis. Television now. Where were we?
Amen to that one. You know what? I think that the internet where you are is less awesome than just calling in. I think all the viewers at home will agree that that was the smoothest, most happy time.
T-Mobile doesn't often have an outage like this, but we lost a big power line all the way up to Westport and beyond, around down to Tokeland, Raymond, and wrapped around the corner. 2 people lost their lives in a car accident and took out a pole.
Oh, that's awful. Condolences to them and their families and their friends and the people that love them. We hope the power gets back on there and where you are in Grayland, Washington. Anyways, everybody in Washington who's experiencing a power outage like Jeannie today, you know what? Turn on your flashlight, find your lantern, stay warm with each other, and the power will be back soon. But I think everyone will agree. Look at how smooth and awesome she looks and how great she sounded on that intro back from the commercial. This is an amazing first world discovery. And just real quickly, everybody at home, I'm going to admit that I am not a Zoom producer right now. And we're going to together grow a little bit right now on the Daily Dose podcast. You see, I didn't know that recording in the cloud was a little more pixelated and less good looking than recording on your computer. And I changed that setting. And then I also didn't know that you could do some other things where you didn't have the people's, what they were saying in the bottom, and the camera wouldn't flush to them, so it would become extra pixelated. So a little grassroots growth, I guess we'll call that one. I can see the look from Producer Scott. But yes, this episode should come out a little bit nicer for you guys visually, and we appreciate you allowing us to grow and growing with us here at US Weed Channel. Okay, you guys. So now that we know what's going on in Washington, Scott, what's going on closer to the East Coast? Are you still in a friggin' icicle?
It's warming up here on the East Coast. We actually have highs between 40 and 50 degrees. Yes.
Wow, things might thaw.
Yes, it's
Wave.
melting. The snow's been on the ground for almost a month straight here in southern Vermont and upstate New York and Richmondville. A month with all the snow on the ground. Finally, it's melting as of today. The snow plows are still running around weird. So let's do some breaking news national.
Let's do it.
Our new FBI head is Kash Patel with a K, like Kash, and then Patel. And he's now in charge of the FBI and the ATF. What does everybody think about that move by Trump?
I dig it. I think it's great because agencies like this that just have like free reign and all of our money, we could go so deep into the performance of a human being when they know that they have just money coming, no matter what, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh. I mean, could you imagine how, first of all, lazy they would be, and second of all, how self-empowered they would be, right? To just go out and do whatever they wanted to get done and just throw money around like they were the god, the king, right? And it's our money. And that's not cool. Like if we can't see where it's going, right? Every single business on the planet has transparency. We have to turn it into the IRS, for God's sakes. So I'd like to know where our money's going. I think this is a great turn of events.
Absolutely. Can you imagine what the FBI budget is per year? To do what? Go chase after 20 bad guys in the country? How much billions of dollars it costs to run the FBI and ATF daily? How much you think? You don't want to know.
You know, I don't, but at the same time, I don't want to lose any security. So I want to make sure, I want to put the vote in that any funds that are going to be stopped, frozen, removed, whatever, they should be pretty well scrutinized. I mean, don't get me wrong, the FBI is, and the CIA and that type of thing, you know, they're all supposedly keeping us safe. So my assumption is that at some level in each of these three-letter agencies, there are people that are actually doing that, right? That are actually keeping America safe. Otherwise, we'd be blown up already. So, you know, I'm sure it can't all go away, is what I'm saying.
Well, we'll see. You know, again, has anybody ever met? I have. I've met the FBI more than once. I fixed their computers in the World Trade Center. But to you and me, have you ever met an FBI agent?
Yeah.
Oh, well, of course.
Yes, I'm
Who have you
legally
met,
adopted.
Shane?
So how did you
And-
meet one, Jeannie? How did you meet a FBI agent?
Well, I'm legally adopted, and I've also had my ID stolen multiple times, along with I was a bookkeeper. I was the auditor for hotels and for financial institutions, and I had Social Security, a legal ID in the US. So I was a juicy target for people a long time ago, and they can't do that to me now. But they tried multiple times, and I've had to meet with just about everybody in the chain of command. And also, when you audit books, you have to know where every single dime is going in and out. You got to know where every bit of it's going, and you have to be accountable for it. And that's exactly the way our government should be. Should totally be accountable. We, the people, not they, the government. And they should stay out of our affairs as much as possible, I feel. But I'm very happy that the FBI is having a makeover, faceover, because they do protect us. And we need them to be on their best points. And they need to be totally looking out for the best of the people that they were hired to do the work for. So I agree. And having somebody named Cash, well, that can't hurt.
Honestly,
That's right. With a K.
it just sounds cool. I'm just saying. Sup, Cash?
All the way. Did you see a picture of him yet?
Yeah, he's cool.
Does he smoke?
You know,
Huh?
I would love to smoke. If you're out there, Mr. Patel, I would love to have a nice safety meeting with you. Doesn't have
Yes,
to be at the White
please.
House.
I will join you.
Just saying, there's a friendly circle waiting for you if you'd like to experiment with some cannabis where it's legal, of course. Can he do that as the head of the
No, I don't think
I
so.
don't think so. That would be a federal offense. But
Yeah.
here's what we can do. We can discuss steps of legalization and the avoidance of the inevitable issues that currently plague our system.
Oh, believe
go.
you me, 420 Weed News, the states are starting to crack down on people growing in their backyard. North Carolina, of course, and then even Ohio. They're trying to change the laws so you can't grow in your backyard. What do you think of that story?
I think it is probably true to the core and it sucks to the bone. I mean, again, that's like telling people you're not in charge of your health. You're not in charge of your recreation. You're not in charge of your life because, well, it's a plant. If it was something that we had to manufacture through a dangerous process, and any of the steps of that dangerous process or the end result of that process ended up in a life-threatening substance or process, I would understand. However, putting a seed in dirt and putting water on it and singing to it while you give it nutrients, and I guess the dangerous part would be using the little snipper snips at the end when you trim your weed. So there is a danger. I'm just saying it's not free of danger, right? And there is some bending over. You will have to, move the dirt around once in a while. There's some lifting, some soil.
You think so? Try digging 400 holes on a quarter acre. Try it. I did.
Great story. We're going to sidebar. Great story. I had a grow at one point at 2.5 acre grow outside of Fallbrook in this place called Doull, and the river or creek ran alongside the property, and it had a cutoff where it ran into the property, fed a lake with tons of fish, and then ran off back into the lake. So that was where we used the water and we used the fish emulsion to water. But
So you had a river run through it.
yes, I did. Good catch. But
Free water.
the point is the two flat areas that equaled about 2 acres, Scott, they were seriously packed hard death desert dirt. And my buddy Ben and I went up there, and in like a weekend, we dug like 200 holes with one of those giant augers, And I would say at least 10 times each of us just got thrown by this thing because it'd catch a rock or something. We'd be like, woohoo.
Oh, yeah. I've seen the auger almost hit my friend at Frank Farms LLC. He's got the auger out and he's digging a hole. I said, Frank, it's almost taking a leg off. And he was like, oh, Scott, let me keep on going. I was like, oh, gosh. And yeah, big auger, the biggest auger you could buy at Harbor Freight.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And the ground that we dig on in Richmondville has got a ton of rocks, big rocks, ancient rocks, this big. There used to be Indians on the property 600 years ago. So it's still in the ground. So when you try to go down 3 feet, guess what? Mother Nature is waiting for us.
Really?
Yeah. The struggles I've gone through in the last year helping my friend's farm has been tremendous. 12-hour days like nothing.
Yeah.
And now we're relaxing, but it's all getting ready to spin back into gear ASAP. So, yeah, I mean, Frank Farms needs GoFundMe. So if you can, this is 2 states. We're arguing with the CCB, the OCB, and, take care of Frank Farms. This is 2 older guys trying to make a living. Past our Social Security. So GoFundMe, Frank Farms LLC. Really, please.
And all the legal dispensaries in the state of, Scott?
Yeah, we're in Vermont and New York.
There you go. So all the legal dispensaries in Vermont and New York, please go ahead and look up Frank's Farm and let them know that you saw Scott right here on the Daily Dose and that, that's how you found out about them and that you'd like to participate. And what they will do is they will give you some sort of discount, right, Scott?
When it's in the stores, it's not even in the stores. Frank Farms LLC on GoFundMe. Let's get to our next story with Trump, Musk, and Putin, please.
Trump, Musk, Putin. What's up? Oh, hold
Trump
on.
is
Sirens
on.
outside. Can you hear those sirens? They know I'm here.
Oh, yeah. Hello. Hands in the air. Turn around. All right. Trump, Musk, Putin. What a triangle of minds.
Was that a triangle of super sexy man love? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know. Trump wants the war to end in the Ukraine. He's on top of Putin right now. And he's doing a jig, and he's telling Putin, look, you got to give in. But if you make a deal with your resources in Ukraine and in Russia to the U.S., we'll kiss and all make up. So this is the breaking news that Trump, Musk, Putin, this triangle of great minds, supposedly, and now they're trying to figure out, dig more gold or dig more oil? Really? Yes. They're working this angle to end the war. Why don't just guys kiss and make up and rearrange your borders? Trump wants the assets from Canada now. He wants now, we're part of Putin now. What's going on with our president? Please, will someone answer that question? Shane, it's you. Answer the question.
Oh, yeah, I get it. As a person who follows, some of this stuff, honestly, America has just been taking it on the chin for decades when it comes to not having tariffs from companies, because the general consensus out there in the world was that America is just so great that it could just bear all the costs of them making all of our money. Right?
Oh, no.
And things like that, at least in the tariff realm. And so that's one thing. Now, in the last 4 years, our country has sent untold billions to a small little country in the name of democracy, right? And cool, I get it, but there needs to be some quo pro for that. Every country on the planet does that, right? You can't just expect America to be like, cool, our people will work our ass off for your sovereignty. The people get tired of that. So there has to be like, yeah, we'll loan you the money, bro, to go and kick ass in your war and win. But you have to repay it. I don't care if it's over 25 years, 50 years, 5 years, however it is. There has to be something that we get from this, right? From your country in reciprocity.
We'll take gold and oil, to tell you the truth. That'll work for us.
Right. Well, and there was a report, and actually Ukraine has a tremendous amount of different things in the ground,
Yes.
Minerals and stuff waiting for us, lithium mines, gold mines, silver mines. There was all sorts of stuff in this report that I saw. I was like, holy cow, why is this country not already rich? Like, what's going on? So there's that. The last little point on this that kind of just, I think really was the tipping point for everybody in America was when they heard the president of Ukraine, President Zelensky, say, yeah, there's about 100 billion that we just don't know what happened to it. 100 billion of your American dollars that we just fucked off. Excuse my language, but yeah. Dude, that's absolutely no. There's QuickBooks for $29 a month. Could attract every penny, right?
We're having a problem with the economy. Wall Street's got the jitters. Bitcoin has gone down with Ethereum like a sell-off on Wall Street. And the prices of real estate across this country are now topped off and going down because the interest rates are too high. This gap between the rich and poor in this country. And now they want our Social Security and food stamps? Really?
Right. And
Really?
it's such a small amount of the overall budget. It's insane. When they show the things that Elon Musk is looking at with Doge right now and how he's found, this X trillions of dollars, and they show what percentage that is of the actual budget of the government. It's this tiny little toothpick sliver on the circle of actual spending. Like it's 1% to 2%. So if the government is spent, so that equals like a day, right? That equals 1 day of spending in the government is a couple $1 trillion effectively. So where's the rest of the circle going? The 99%? That's a lot. That's way more than this little sliver that we're talking about. Holy cow. So a lot needs to happen because here's the end result. And oh my God, I could go crazy. What with all this other 99% of these, if this 1% equals $1 trillion, that's $100 trillion a year. I know America could be a hell of a lot better if we took some of that 99%, put it into roads, education, mental health, right? Border protection. There's got to be something because right now you can't get health insurance. And when you do, you can't get to see a doctor. And every single bank is out on the take, it seems. Every single thing or person will steal from anybody else because, well, let's face it, that's not a problem with people like the news would like you to believe. That's a problem with government because government, they tell the nation what the price of everything is going to be. Effectively, they set the rate. So if your government sets the rate on how things will cost in your country and where funds will go, boy, oh boy, what would happen if they just decided things would cost less and the farmlands were back open? Maybe they did some eminent domain on some of those Bill Gates farms. Right? And gave it back to farmers and said, yeah, this is mandated and you have to do this, this, and this. Heck, years ago, I was going to open a farm in Virgin Islands because there was a grant from the government where they wanted people to open farms and grow certain types of fruit. And so you would get the grant to get to buy the land and do all that. Then the Army Corps of Engineers would come in and prepare the land, all part of these grants, right? Why aren't we doing that right here? Everybody could be fed. Everybody could be fed, literally.
And we could also be growing hemp. And it takes less time to grow hemp than it does to grow a forest. And it can be used for
we'd
it.
have
If we
to.
can replace everything that we currently use, we can replace, and it would be less money and more cost effective. And our healthcare system would be a complete system of health and not a dare system of who may or may not live or be on medicine to live long enough to get through the next surgery. It doesn't need to be this way. And we didn't do it this way before, and we don't need to do it now.
Yeah. I mean, if Zuckerberg could build Facebook and it has 3 billion active users, well, that's 100 times more than, or 10 times more than the US at least, because we've got, what, 330 million-ish,
Yeah.
right? So there is definitely a computer that can handle documenting everybody in America. It can be like Bitcoin thing, it can be whatever, but effectively there are better ways to do what we're doing with the money that's being collected by the government, and we all know it. By the way,
Shame on Facebook. Facebook is, I've had family contact me on Facebook, but when you go to Facebook Reels, all you see is people with their side hustles. Keep your day job. Hey, you're not going to work in Hollywood, all right? You have to break
yes,
your shoes to be that good in Hollywood or at CNN like me. B,
yeah,
don't stop going to the thrift store and try to flip things on eBay. Since now TikTok is reinstalled across the country. So thank you for TikTok. I'm a creator on TikTok. But if you go to Facebook Reels, you see all these people. Oh, you could do this, you could do that. You go to Walmart and get stuff for a penny. No, no, no. You're a scam artist. I get on Facebook and some people come back and try to troll me. But then they see I'm from Warner Brothers Discovery Channel and they shut up. But you see the way Mark Zuckerberg is running Facebook, it's like a comedy show, reality TV show on a bad day. All these people doing these 1-minute videos, and some are interesting. I like when you could build from a pallet a whole couch. Yeah, I like when I see how to put a house together quicker. But I don't want to see people, and you're not allowed to film in Walmart. You're not allowed to film in even Goodwill. And why are you doing that? It's called permission to shoot. I did a story today for breaking news. Dollar General closed in my area. In a little town that's literally struggling, you get a foreclosed trailer with property for $5,000. You know how cheap that is?
yeah.
And
So wait a second. What do they do for groceries?
now we have to go 10 miles to Bennington, to Walmart, or Price Chopper, or Hannaford. So all the local people that can't afford the gas to go back and forth in their pickup truck. Remember, South Vermont is like hillbilly blood. I hate to say that, but all these
Go
people have
rednecks.
beards. They
Oh, you know
all
what?
have
I just made a
beards.
mistake. I'm sorry. I need to apologize. Whenever you say go redneck to hillbillies, you are incorrect because those are actually two different sets of individuals here in
Oh,
America.
yeah, I know.
Rednecks are people working in the sun, whatever
Yeah.
that expression might be. Hillbillies, those are people who live out in the holler. And I know because I used to work in Kentucky drilling oil wells, and I know lots and lots of hillbillies.
Yeah, I mean, there's good ones, but a lot of them seem to be very upset about being on this planet. You look at people the wrong way; they're literally growling at you, going, "Ugh." I met a new girl on Facebook dating, and I was like, "Honey, why aren't you smiling? You look like you're ready to kill me." I'm like, "You
She's
want
on
to be
Facebook
picked up?"
dating. That's why she's
I
not smiling.
I don't understand. Sometimes with life and people, yes, I'm tough on everybody because I lived in the Hamptons, I lived in California, some spoiled kid. Meh, you know?
Never. I
Hey,
mean, you know,
it costs money. Where you live, even in Lake Forest, it's not cheap. Okay?
I know. I'm in Orange County, California, baby. Like,
I love Orange County. Love it. Can I do a
yeah.
story about Vegas? In breaking news, Circus Circus is now finally being sold. Shane, you ever go to Circus Circus? The casino in Vegas?
You know, I have to hold back.
Oh, oh.
I don't know that I'm the right tone for Circus Circus. Have you been to Circus Circus, my friend?
Yeah, I stayed there a couple times.
When was the last time?
We were in there, yeah, in the 90s, but I drove by it. I was last year in Vegas, so we drove by it on a regular basis. But yes, I know it's a dump, okay?
No. Circus
It's
Circus is not a dump. It's an actual playground, and it's wonderful, I'm sure.
Look, it's dated. The problem about Vegas is unless you got real new glitz, you're literally ostracized. And even the location of Circus Circus, I loved it when I went there. And they had a merry-go-round with slot machines. And yes, it's dated. The problem about Vegas is unless it's new and glitzy, it's out.
You know what's great about Circus Circus is if you have kids, they have that roller coaster mini area, whatever, with roller coasters and rides and
Mm-hmm.
sorts of cool stuff. That's actually super cool.
Yeah.
Like,
When I was
'cause,
in County, I took the kids to Circus Circus.
yeah. So, like if you're not a heavy gambler, which I'm not, and you're a daytime person, which I am, and you're in Vegas during the day, you're kind of like, well, what do? I go to the pool and drink, or I go and eat, or I go and gamble. This is a nice something different to do, right? Is to go to Circus Circus and hit up the roller coasters and what's the words that I'm looking for? Something park?
Yeah, theme park.
Theme park. Thank you very much.
I was playing chicken in the pot, where you have a hammer and you hit it down, and the rubber chicken goes flying into the pot, and you win a prize. I was actually pretty good at that. I got a bunch of prizes one night. Yes, there's some games where the hook and claw, and you're trying to grab a $20,000 necklace, gold, but you can't. This game is rigged. Get it? Like a carnival. But
Oh,
yes,
now, Scott,
Sin City.
I'm sure what you mean is allegedly rigged. And yes, I'm sure that somebody is going to win that necklace very soon in a very fair game that they have there at that location.
Oh, really?
Yes. So,
All
hey,
right.
by the way, just before we get off the subject of like playgrounds and stuff at Vegas, Jeannie, when was the last time you were in Vegas?
I was in Vegas probably 2 years ago, but I used to live in Vegas and I went there frequently because I was a nanny. And the first time I went to Circus Circus, I can tell you I met Janie Lane of Warren. I thought, what a silly name your band is, and what a silly name you have. You sound like a girl, and you look like one too. And I was teasing him. I was a little bit older than him, and he was well young. This was a long time ago. This is when they had penny slots.
Was
Remember
he a good,
those?
was he a good kisser?
Yeah, they're fun. But I lived in Vegas. So a couple of years ago, I was doing bookkeeping in Vegas, completely different from what I was doing when I was younger and I was in Vegas. I actually had a job this time. And I met the lead singer of Warrant, and I hung out for a moment with kids, and I were all they were thrilled with it. And a couple of years ago, though, I lived in Vegas. Vegas changes every weekend. If you live there, you know that the skyline, everything about it is different every weekend. And now they have lounges, and they have an area where they do allow for cannabis, but it's not like people think. It's not a free for all by any means. And you do have to have your credentials, but you can find great lounges. You can go to where the world's funniest 420 comic, Jeffrey Peterson, guest number 2 on our show, The Daily Dose, is also holding a residency on Planet 13, I believe it is. And there's lots of things to do in Vegas if you're not a gambler, like a heavy gambler like myself. There's still lots of things to do. At one time, it was being promoted more for family, and it was more for family entertainment. And they've kind of had a few makeovers over the years. And I haven't been back in a couple of years, but I'm due to go back. Definitely. Check it out again.
I think we're all due to go back, and just as long as we don't fly and we drive.
Hey. What, more plane crash news? No.
No,
Yeah.
not this week, damn it. No!
All right, let's do a weed news. A man was arrested from Thailand to India with 1.2 million of bootleg. It was hidden in the cookies from Thailand to India, and the man got nabbed with $1.2 million worth of fake cookies with weed in it. Shane, what do you think of that story?
Well, first of all, got milk. I'm sure. Was there a shortage of milk near the police station?
Something went wrong. Why he tried something that crazy, but he's an Indian man that went to Thailand. He figures he could pull this off, but obviously TSA saw right through this gimmick and nabbed his butt.
Tell me again, he was going from Thailand to India because they need more weed in India.
How? Why?
They caught him. TSA looked
money?
at his bags and saw that he was going to Sesame Street.
How?
I gotta back this up here because now my brain is starting to revel in the news, and I'm like, $1.2 million. Did he have money, or he had that much in cannabis product?
That was that much in cannabis product that they guesstimated.
That was literally the largest cookie ever made, ever. Period.
Edibles. Big edibles.
Wow. India has weed already, and they make a lot of hash from it. I'm not sure if weed is legal in India yet. I should probably know these things, but I don't live there. So, maybe we'll report on that sometime soon on which countries are legal that you can travel to. So we'll get in touch with some travel boards at different countries and ask them if they'd like to pay for that.
By the way, Trump wants to make a law that if you're caught dealing meth or coke or heroin, you get the death penalty like other countries. So this is more Trumpisms. He's, saying, oh, well, if you're manufacturing meth or coke or, heroin and you get caught dealing, making, you can get the death penalty. What do you think of that story?
Well, meth kills, and so does coke, and so does heroin, and so does fentanyl, and so do all of these man-made chemicals. All of them kill, and all of them have, as a cannabis nurse who believes in healing others, I believe in healing. I don't believe in dealing. And I think it's high time that we start taking it seriously, that killing people is not right, putting them on medications for the rest of their life is not right, and we need to decide that we care about human life. So I'm happy on the one hand to hear that we are taking a harder stance on this, but on the other hand, what could anybody stand on that? Of course, whenever you hear a death penalty, it's never a nice thing to hear, but we also need to let the people know that you are cared about, and if they do care about you, then they'll keep you safe as they can. So on the one hand, I'm split. I'm a parent who's split. I'm a nurse that's split.
I have an opinion. As somebody who grew up in the 80s, first of all, do they have to have coke on there? Okay, well, anyways, back to the point. The problem with drugs nowadays, I feel for the younger crowd nowadays with these experimental drugs, because when I was younger as a teenager, heck, I ventured quite far from cannabis into many different directions. Always came back, because I had weed, and I honestly think that weed will help you beat, conquer, overcome, or not become addicted to anything. But now I think the problem is all these drugs are being mixed, right? I know, in the 80s, if we wanted to go get some blow, it was going to be maybe cut with some baby powder or some vitamin B12, I think it was, or something like that. But that's it, right? Like that's it. Oh, and so wait, some stool softener sometimes I heard. Again, this was a long time ago. So, but the point is, there was never fentanyl, right? So again, representing the product is important. If somebody thinks they're buying cocaine from somebody, illicitly or not, it should be cocaine, right? If they think they're buying meth, it should be meth. It shouldn't be that plus anything, period. It should just be that. If it isn't, that's when some harsher penalties can come in my opinion. Because I've seen kids, a lot of kids here in Orange County die because they took a pill that they thought was something else. Like what's the one that makes you all hyper? Adderall.
Adderall.
Yeah, thank you. So they'll think it's that, but then it's got fentanyl and they die. So therein lies the problem. People are smart enough to do drugs. They are. Well, a bunch of them. A bunch of them aren't as well. So I should probably say that. A bunch of people overdose. But a bunch of people are smart enough to do drugs. They're smart enough to be functioning alcoholics. And they don't overdose on these things. They either enjoy it or they become a slave to it, but they continue to function, right? And they don't die. When they die, it's because all of a sudden there's fentanyl, their drug of choice, whatever that is, right? And therein lies the issue. So I have a split decision on this one. If somebody is supplying somebody's drug of choice, and it is purely that, there should be, yeah, you're a dealer. Okay, we caught you dealing drugs. And you're going to go through the court system with that. If they're dealing a drug and it has something extra, fentanyl, I don't care what extra. If it has that, now you're suffering a whole nother level of charges, close to murder one. Because, and I don't know about the death penalty, but close to murder one, because you're telling them, look, you can get this high with this product, and you know it because you've used it before. You know what you're getting into. When you sneak this other part in, that's a lie. That's overdosing somebody.
The cartel, the boys from the South, get it? And yes, even the Canadian or the European, but guilty first, probably the cartel. And because especially on the West Coast, that they'll put anything in it.
Therein lies the problem. And, when I was a younger man, once in a while, we would drop some acid and go camping. Or go camping and drop acid, I guess, is a better way to do it. And about 10 years ago, I wanted to take some acid and go camping, right? And so I was talking with a girlfriend that I had at the time, and her son overheard us. He's like, oh, I know, I can get some, blah, blah, blah. I don't have a connection for that. So I was like, okay, let's try it. Well, sure as shit, we get it back, and it's not just that. It's that with like a little Molly, a little this, a little that. I'm like, dude, no. You kids today, you got it wrong. Separate your highs at least, at a minimum, right? Because they're all totally fun right on their own. And that's at least from my experience. When you mix too much, you mix too much.
All right. Can we do the last of the weed news story down to weed weather? Obviously, a man got stopped in Ohio with 700 pounds in a U-Haul. Shane, what are your thoughts on that one? Just regular weed.
First of all, what's round on both ends and high in the middle? Anyone?
What?
Repeat that.
What is round on both ends and high in the middle?
Joint.
Ohio.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I just have, anytime somebody says Ohio, I say that. It's like a dad joke. It's not that funny. Anyways, so, okay, 700 pounds, regular weed. Backstory. First of all, is weed legal in Ohio?
Yes, they have weed licenses. They're fighting tooth and nail in Ohio with the state because they're having second thoughts on legalizing weed in Ohio. So they're putting regulations down. There's another state that's actually trying to reverse the laws with what they created. There's 40 states in the country that have recreational and medical marijuana available in 40 states. We have 10 states that are literally in the Bible Belt, all the way from Texas. By the way, trivia question. What state is the biggest state in America, the 50 states, user of marijuana? What state?
The biggest consumer?
Yeah.
I think, isn't it New York?
No.
I think they're hydraulic piston, right?
Revelation? Who is it?
Miami, Florida, with all the old people.
That is fantastically obvious. Yeah, lots of old people. They got their, their monthly income, and they've got their pills, and they're probably like, let's see, pills, weed. Let's bring back the '60s. Yeah, this is great.
And grandma's carrying a pistol also in Florida. Remember that?
Amen.
Well,
That's how we cut down on crime in this here state.
whoa, I've had people move out of Florida for that reason. Say, nah, too many guns in Florida. I was like, what do you mean? He goes, people go with if you trespass on my property, I can shoot you. And I met a farmer who just bought a big farm in Vermont. I said, why did you leave Florida? He goes, nah, too many guns, too many trigger happy people in Florida. I was like, yeah, I could see that.
That goes back to the meth story, I think. I'm not sure. I don't. Sorry, Florida, if I let something out of the bag. I don't. It's just between us. Yeah. Well, let's get more weed into Florida, enact this whole like less meth in Florida, and that's probably a pretty good start, right? I mean, it's funny how it's sort of like this hose at the end of America to just be really close to Cuba. Just like, hey. So, coincidence? I don't know, planning.
Well, we've gotten our hour plus, and are we ready to wrap it up?
I think today's dose was wonderful, as a matter of fact. People at home will be absolutely enthralled by this entire episode. They will be in wonder at the improvements in pixelation and recording capability, and I feel they'll be satisfied.
Yes, I think the writer did a good job writing this for today.
Whoever that character was, kudos to him. I just come here, I show up, I'm like, hey, let's do
All right, yeah. Look, forget about it, okay?
There we go. Hey, by the way, before we boogie, Jeannie, what is this that you're wearing?
I am wearing my fashionable US Weed Channel long sleeve ensemble today.
You know what? When
Yes,
we're done,
I also have a US Weed hat, which I will wear on another day, and another shirt, which I will wear on yet another day. So tune in and see what US Weed Channel has in store for you.
that was a
And
great
for
show.
you,
Wait a
fashionistas.
minute. Time.
We are family oriented. We promise.
Sure?
Yeah. But you know what, Jeannie, when we're done, don't forget when the lights come back on and you're not working by flashlight to model that shirt so we can put it up in the store for the swag where people can buy it.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I've got the fire on right now, and we've got a generator, so I've got a bit of heat. So I've got a little bit of light.
Well, that might even be, like more sexy, a little like accented light, no light, some light. I don't know. Maybe it might just be sexy to the rednecks that are watching now.
Hey, hillbillies.
Hillbillies. Hillbillies. Shit, I did it again. Sorry, hillbillies. I know. One light that hangs by a bulb in the middle of the room is enough. I get it.
Remember, I'm the guy that ran Hillbilly Blood for the Discovery Channel for 8 years. Believe me, I know Hillbilly. Okay?
So, where was that?
Cold Mountain, North Carolina.
North Carolina. If you're in North Carolina and you're watching, give us a comment and let us know what it is to be a hillbilly. I learned when I was drilling oil wells in Kentucky, and I was about 20 miles to the southwest of where the Hetfield and McCoys lived, like that whole thing, literally just down the road from that in Owsley County, and in a place called Campton was the first place I stayed. So for the 16 people that live in Campton, if you're watching out there, and the couple of girls that, hey, Sharon, what's happening? Anyways, thank you very much at home for watching us today on the Daily Dose. Jeannie, please read us out for the day. Let everybody know what they can do.
Well, our kind of friends and supporters and bellmates, it seems today's dose is already wearing off. It always comes sooner than expected. But fear not, my friends, the Daily Dose will be back to medicate your senses. Until then, you watch every bitchin' and rad show of the USW channel and listen to every dawn bit of the USWC Rocks Radio until we are back to soothe your cerebellum once again. Let's all say thank you once again to today's sponsors, the New Jersey Cannabis Consulting and the Green Dispensary Marketing. We appreciate you supporting cannabis media and USWC's mission to create safety and prosperity for everyone in our global community of Cannabia or Cannaland. Thank you for watching or listening to today's episode of The Daily Dose on the US Weed channel. I am your host. I'm Jeannie420. That's Shane Dougal with producer Scott running the board. Look for new episodes on US Weed channel, mobile apps. Join us on our next episode for a good dose daily.
Every week. All right, you guys, wave us out. Bye, everybody. We'll see you on Tuesday of next week, or sooner if we get that. Bye.
That's a wrap on this episode of US Weed Channel. We appreciate you rolling with us. Your support keeps this community thriving. Stay connected. Visit usweedchannel.com for cannabis news and entertainment. Download our app on Google Play and the App Store. Follow, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Thanks for being part of the US Weed family, elevating cannabis culture, one episode at a time. See you next time.